Imagine fetishizing Spider-Man to the point where you start an entire series of videos just to white knight anything Spider-Man related and insult anyone who talks ill of the shows in a Spider-Man costume. Now make that imagination a reality with Marcus Yamamoto.
Are you sure you're not the buffoon? God, you're so dumb. You're an idiot that doesn't know any better.
I'm going to die!
Never have I wished a set of videos could all just implode more than this one series by Marcus called Spidey Response. You see, Marcus has over 20,000 subscribers, mostly from his Steven Universe animations that were likely made in MS Paint and recorded with the Game Boy camera. Now, does he use his power for good? Well, that's what this analysis will cover with his Spidey Response, where, as I said, he dresses up in a Spider-Man costume, so I have to look at that for at least 2 hours, and essentially white knights anything Disney and Marvel. Okay, so look, I get being part of a fan base, but it's vital to remember that constructive criticism can help improve the final product and expand the lifespan of those properties. Nothing is immune to criticism. Now I'm going to break down his motive, his argument, and his comedy. With that said, allow me to expose you to what the internet's version of hell really is.
Don't you get it? God, you're so stupid.
Now, he essentially takes someone else's review of Disney's new Spider-Man TV show and sprinkles his own intrusions throughout. Problem is, he takes the entire video from the reviewer and reacts to it, which has about as much substance as an argument on social media. And at least with the stupid Jinx reaction videos, he at least didn't talk over it. Like, you could just watch the source material. And this one, you have to listen to him. It might sound like a minor complaint on my end, but when you're watching a 50-minute video where the points are regurgitated to no end, it's extremely frustrating to watch. Something worth noting, the series of his currently up is by no means the original. Instead, he retitled the original series Rough Draft, I guess to avoid backlash and to throw some stronger insults into the refurbished ones. I actually prefer the Rough Drafts because at least there was more of an argument. And speaking of argument, allow me to break down his points. His overarching opinion about the show is, since it took effort, it is his sworn duty to defend the show to his last breath.
Remember all the nice things that Disney has done for Marvel? Remember that? Like, come on. Like, be more appreciative to Disney, okay? Like,
anime has been making vehicle CG a lot, and it's rarely done well. Here, it looks terrible.
Oh, what? You think you can draw a better car? I like to see you try animate a train, okay? It's really hard. From my personal experience, it's really hard.
But the issue with the "you can't critique it because it took effort" concept is fundamentally flawed, because input doesn't always equal output, and there's nothing wrong with sharing new perspectives and mechanics to help improve and enhance the output. Just because it took time to animate cars doesn't mean they can't look like the visual equivalent of Gentlemen by Psy. God, I'm so bad at jokes. That's why I despise when everyone blankets every form of criticism as haters, as those who are the truest of fans will want to see it improve and provide the flaws they see in their favorite works. You can't just deny feedback because you believe your effort has validated yourself to be immune to it. I'm not saying you can't find criticism unwarranted or more of a nitpick. All I'm saying is no one's beyond it. His other counter argument is that Marvel thrives on being lighthearted, and people asking for a darker or more serious approach should just go to DC.
So, if you want something serious, you go to DC Comics.
Yes, because we all know DC cartoons, that's where the serious stuff is at. But is it that irrational to ask if Marvel could just provide us with some serious moments where we can see character development at its finest, weaknesses in the characters, and help carry the plot? I feel like it's not that bad of a suggestion to make. The rest of the major criticisms he makes are to the reviewer as a person, whether that be by proving the reviewers are not true fans or just mentally impaired.
You're a fucking idiot. Are you retarded? Oh my god, how stupid are you? Oh yeah, that's right. You are stupid.
So that would mean in his series, that in total is approximately 2 hours and 16 minutes long, is relying heavily on his ability to entertain as well as his humor. So is he funny? Well, he's about as funny as the Keem screaming meme if it was amplified to 100 times the normal volume. So he states he derives inspiration for his comedic taste from the Game Grumps and Catakaris.
So first up, the format of the show, or I guess the comedy of it, is inspired by Game Grumps and Catakaris. If you have watched Game Grumps and Catakaris, then you would understand like where the kind of inspiration came from.
I see no correlation unless you're talking about the vulgarity of Game Grumps and using Catakaris' clips in your video. Absolutely tragic. In most cases, vulgarity isn't that bad if handled properly, but when you modify every word with a damn or any other swear, it becomes very tiresome and almost feels tedious to watch, at least for me, because I become desensitized to it if it's like one of the only words used in the video. It's even more crucial to time it well when you're making a video just like ripping another person to shreds, and of course his timing is completely misguided. Look, I get it, most of my jokes fail, but at least I make an attempt and I'm not oblivious to the fact that most of my jokes flop. Some of these jokes in here really just make me want to wince.
No, you're bad. You're bad to the bone. You're bad to the bat. Ugh! DJ Spidey in the house.
You even get a few gems here and there where his jokes contradict themselves. For example, in one of his Spidey response videos, he mispronounces someone's name for a gag.
Today's episode, we're gonna take down the villainous Venom, aka Evan Philip.
Absolutely god-awful joke on its own, but in another video where he rips a kid to shreds for reacting to one of his singing videos, he calls the kid racist for mispronouncing his last name.
And today we're going to be talking about Marcus Yamato.
First off, it's Marcus Yamamoto, okay? Yamamoto. Alright? Don't pull any racist crap on me, okay?
So by your own terms, you are in fact a racist. I think this is what comedy was like in the Stone Ages, except I'd bet he's even more primitive in his humor. Of course, comedy is subjective. People say that on repeat anytime you critique anything that has the purpose of being funny, but objectively, I think his jokes hinder his videos, as it shows a persona that he is very unlikable and immature, which impedes his serious arguments where he wants to be taken, well, seriously. And to top it off, his skits are just purely ear-piercing. To summarize, he makes jokes at the expense of others, but not really in a comedic way, more of just really weak insults. With all of that said, what did he do it for? What's productive that came out of this? What's the end result? His motive for it all really is just the bombshell that obliterates this entire series of his. As I said, he's a fanboy willing to berate anyone in the name of Spider-Man, but his motive goes even farther, saying critics will be the end of Spider-Man. He states how it could have the same fate as Fantastic Four, where not much is done with Fantastic Four due to supposedly the critics. However, if anything, had Fantastic Four paid more attention to what critics' perception would be, maybe they would have a good film and a better time at the box office. Also, I don't know how you see Spider-Man at the same popularity level as the Fantastic Four, but moving on to the verdict. Now, whether this is a persona or not, he does persist and attack real people, so I feel justified to make this video, whether it's all just one unfunny joke or a serious counterattack. However, as with everyone I've made videos on, I don't hate him as a person. Rather, I found his content to be childish, naive, and lack any representation of critical thinking. He clearly won't hear out people who politely reply to his inane videos, so I feel a proper response is a hard-hitting, impersonal one. I'm baffled by his attempts to claim the moral high ground, because Disney sure as hell won't care or notice you defending its show by sacrificing every single one of your limbs, and you just come off as extremely stubborn, which is too bad, and I don't feel like it represents you as a person. As I said, it's not intended to harass or blindly hate on you. Rather, it's an analysis on why your series flopped and highlighting the core reasons to the backlash you have received, and that is what true criticism really is. Take away what you want from this video. I apologize you had to endure it.